On the 12th of March, 2013, we experienced a day that will always be cherished as the day of when new friendships were made. We were honored to be part of Preserve the Memory, the history and culture of the two nations, Poland and Israel. Our group came from Shara Negev, Gate of the Negev. We are approximately 10 kilometers from the center of Gaza. We are a high school, which consists of 1,200 students who come from kibbutzim, moshavim, villages and towns around the area. Our schooling is based on a search for our identity, our Jewish identity, our Zionist identity, and our human identity. Thus, our trip to Poland. What made this trip so different from any previous trip? Without a doubt, it is our trip to the Sunning School called Zespal Shkol für Skala. This experience only began thanks to a meeting between Einat and Ida at a conference in which they both attended in Poland. The plans began. Emails were sent back and forth, ideas were shared, and a plan was set in motion. Preparations began by preparing our students for the trip ahead. We had workshops and even a weekend retreat was organized. A Facebook page was set up so that students could make contact with each other. This in itself was a great way to introduce students to each other. One of the drawbacks was the shyness of students to post on the site. Being a second language, they did not feel entirely comfortable to post on the page. But, on the other hand, a few of the students did use the chat facility and chatted to each other. With hindsight, maybe English teachers should have given more attention and encouragement into helping students overcome these fears. Material was prepared for workshops, puzzles were made, songs were chosen, excitement was rising. We were ready to go. We arrived in Poland. Our life-changing journey was about to begin. Our first day was spent in Auschwitz concentration camp. It was a very intensive and emotionally difficult day, as we can all understand. That is why our second day was so very important. We needed to have a day of where we could depressurize. Our day at the stunningly beautiful school was just what was needed. This was the first time many of our students were to experience snow and such cold weather, which added to the excitement. As we drove up to the school, the students were in awe of the beauty of the school and the many students who were awaiting them. You could feel the excitement in the air, and at the same time, they were very apprehensive. Some of the students were worried they would not be able to communicate. But once the Polish students descended the stairs to welcome us, that fear was dispelled immediately. We were then ushered into the school gymnasium, where we were welcomed. The warmth and love we felt was just what we all needed after our day at Auschwitz. We have never been received with such honor. It was truly a historic day. We were welcomed by so many dignitaries and entertained with a formal Polish dance. We felt like royalty. We then proceeded outside to a tree planting ceremony to commemorate this historic day. The students returned to the gymnasium for the workshops. These were a huge success, thanks to Ida and her team. Everything worked like clockwork. Even Ida running to make copies of the songs we left behind in our excitement. It was so encouraging to see the students getting along so well. Even the students whose English level was very weak were managing to communicate with each other and making friends. We never have to worry about the levels of English, as face-to-face the students find ways to overcome this hurdle. At one table of where students were working on a puzzle, I heard one sentence being completed by 3 students. They all helped each other to communicate. The folk dancing was a highlight for the students. It was a very important part of the students mixing and letting go. One of our students, who said he never dances, was dancing with a huge smile on his face, flanked by 2 beautiful Polish girls. We then proceeded to the Olszewski Narodowy Park. It was one of the most beautiful places where the students were sliding on iced sidewalks. It was such a novelty for them. They had so much fun. After such a fun day, we were brought back to the purpose of our trip, with a short drive to a monument of where a Jewish cemetery once stood. The Jewish mourners' Kaddish, a Christian prayer, and a hymn sung was the perfect closure to a perfect day. We would like to take this opportunity to thank Ida and her team, the principal, Mr. Karol Papish, and the students of Zespół Szkół w Szkole for this memorable day. Thank you.